a variable in statistics, especially represented by x, if it's discrete random variable, you're interested in knowing, well, what is the probability associated to this random variable? What is the probability for x? These are types of questions that statisticians usually deal with. You have a variable, it's discrete. What is the probability for x, which we represent by P of x? In general, if you have a discrete random variable, you can form a frequency table for a discrete random variable. You can form frequency table. Why it is useful? If you have your frequency table, then the relative frequency for each x is the probability of x. So let's take a look at the following example to understand what is going on here. In this example, the statisticians collect some information from 150 employees. Statisticians collect personality inventory test from 150 employees. Each individual was given a score. Between 1 to 5. 1 is extremely passive and 5 is extremely aggressive. Extremely passive and 5 extremely aggressive. This is the information that they have. So they had a big collection. They asked 150 employees. Some of them said yes, some of them said no, and based off of those, they were given the following scores. You had some people score 1, some people score 2, some people score 3, score 5. So they collect this information, all right? They arrange these, so I'm not going to list them all. There are 150 scores. They arrange these in a nice compact form for us in the following table. So let me move the table here. So this is what they collected. They put these information in a frequency table below. So here we go. This is the score that we have. And this is the frequency. Score 1, how many employees got 1? The number of employees who received score 1, by counting these, was actually 24. So 24 employees scored 1. 33 employees got scored 2. 42 employees got scored 3. 30 employees got scored 4. And 21 got scored 5. So this is the frequency again. They collected the information. They put this information in a nice format, in a compact format that we can easily read. Now, if I ask you, find the probability of X equals to 1, I'm asking you, what is the odd, the probability that I randomly select one employee and the score is 1. It means that that employee is extremely passive. What is that probability? To find this probability, we're going to form a fraction. On top of the fraction, we're going to have the size of score 1, which is 24. Out of how many? If you add this together, you're going to have 150 employees, 150 responses. So divided by 150. If you do that, the probability is 16%, 0.16 or 16%. So that's how we find the probability of each one of these scores. The score is countable. Score as a random variable X is countable, it is discrete. When you have a discrete random variable, you can form frequency table. The relative frequency for each X is the probability of X. So you can basically find the rest of these probabilities, not that difficult. The probability that X is equal to 2, it means that I randomly select the person and that person's score 2 is the frequency of score 2, which is 33, divided by the total, which is 150. This guy is 0.22 or 22%. Can find the rest of the probabilities as well. It's not that difficult. The probability that X is equal to 3 is going to be score 3 is 42 in total. The number of people who scored 3, 42, divided by how many responses do we have? 150, which is 0.28 or 28%. And find the probability that X is 4. The number of people who score 4 is 30. So we have 30 divided by 150, which is 0.20 or 20%. And finally, what is the probability that I randomly select a person and that person scored 5? It is 21 divided by 150, which is 0.14 or 14%. And finally, we can write these down here or here. We can move this a little bit here. So I'm going to write down the frequency. So 24, 33, 42, 30, and 21, which is 150 in total. And then I can form a new column. Let me use a different color for you. Key X, the probability of X, which is probability of X equals to 1, 16%. The probability X is 2, 22%. The probability X is 3, 28%. The probability X is 4, 20%. And the probability X is 5 is 14%. If you add these percentages together, it is equal to 100% or 1. So we just form the frequency table with probability in it. You can easily visualize this as well. The visualization is not that difficult. You've done it before. On the horizontal line, we're going to have X values, and on the vertical line, we're going to have the relative frequency, or we have another name for it, the probability of each X. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We list all of these scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the maximum is 28%. So I'm going to use 30% as the top height here. So for score 1, we have 16%, which is roughly here. This is 16%. 16% of 150 employees scored 1. The probability for 2 is 22%. So let's just move it a little bit up. 22%. 22% of all employees got score 2. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's not for us to analyze. It's for the company who ran this test. Score 3, 28%. So 28% of people who are working there got score 3. 20% of all employees got score 4. It's roughly here. And finally, 14% score 5. Score 5 was extremely aggressive. So 14%, which is roughly